Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Adventures in Truth livecast. My name is Jim Case, and welcome to the show. Today is going to be a very interesting adventure. We're going to talk about all things Got Joy, and Got Joy is the name of my company. And I had been thinking that I hadn't spent very much time kind of giving a little bit of understanding of the evolution of Got Joy. How did Adventures in Truth come about? Where did fears of choice come from? What is the science of transformation? So I thought I would take this holiday episode, as it were. We're in the Thanksgiving holiday. And I thought I'd take this time to just kind of flesh it out, to spend some time talking about it, to share this information with you guys, to give you more of a sense of where I come from, what I'm doing, and what really drives me with this business, what I'm doing and the work that I'm trying to do. So I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm excited to share this stuff with you and talk with you about it. If you have questions, if you have any comments, you can go to the Adventures in Truth Facebook page. And on the Facebook page where you find the live window, you can type into the comments, and those comments will show up for me live. So if you have a comment or you have a question, I'd love to answer them on the air. I'd love to interact. And also to say thank you for being here. I sat yesterday at Thanksgiving and just spent some time thinking about giving thanks to so many things that I've been experiencing in my life. And, I've had this amazing opportunity these last 6-7 months to really focus on and fine tune this work, to really get it out into the world. It gave me the chance to get my book published. It gave me the chance to really expand the base of my show. It's given me the opportunity to work with more amazing people with the science of transformation. So before we get started, I'd like to ask if y'all would click that like button, click that subscribe button, share, let people know about the work, let people know what's going on. I love to share these adventures, and I hope that you can share them and share them with other people, because I love that you're here and I love that you're a part of this process. So the more that we can share this with, the more that we reach, and that's really, I appreciate very much. So we're going to be a little bit of free form today, but I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a fun conversation, and I think we're going to learn a lot. So we are going to start with, we're going to start with the history. We're going to talk a little bit about history. If I could spell, life would be good. So the history. Let's dive in. So we're going to take a minute here and actually, you know what? Let's take a step back here for a second. Let's do our moment of focus. Let's kind of get all of our energies aligned. Let's get everybody focused into this moment, especially me. And we're going to spend a minute doing that. And that way, as we dive forward, or as we go forward, we can be kind of more in continuity and stuff. And I'm feeling a little, as you can tell as I'm talking, I'm feeling a little disjointed. So this would be a good place to get a moment to focus. So let's take a deep breath together, shall we? In through the nose, out through the mouth, just relaxing into this moment, and let yourself just settle in wherever you are, feeling your feet on the floor or feeling your connection to the earth, however you do that, feeling grounded and present in the moment, and just allowing your eyes to close as you focus in this moment. And what I'd like you to do is to become aware of your energy field right now. I want you to be aware of what you are attending to in this moment. What are you attending to? So as your eyes are closed and you're just feeling into your field, feel how huge it is, how big your field is, how big your energy is. And then notice what is capturing the attention of your field, of your energy. What are you attending to? Can be any number of a myriad of things. Can be a dog, could be the sound of an air conditioner, could be a car driving by, could be an issue you're dealing with, could be something with relationship or something with health or something with growth. Just become aware of all the things that you are attending to in your energy, even though you may not be conscious of it. The things that you are allowing to take your energy or use your energy or occupy space in your energy. And I don't want you to resist or fight or anything like that. I just want you to observe it. I want you to become aware. Okay. And as you become aware, I want you to now really focus. And in that focus, I want you to set yourself in yourself, if that makes sense. I want you to bring the focus of your consciousness into your heart space, into your chest, right into here. And I want you to now draw your consciousness into your body. I want you to feel yourself commanding, invoking, whatever word you choose, to pull all of your energy, all of the field that you feel out there that's attending. Focus that awareness now and pull it into your body. I want you to become aware of the inside of your body. So we're bringing all of that awareness into the inside, into the heart space, so that you can begin to experience the inside of your own beingness here. So all of your focus and awareness now is inside the body, in the heart space. Let that consciousness now begin to roam around in your body. Let yourself go up into your head, through your neck, into your brain, behind your eyes and your sinuses, and just feel into that whole cavity. What does it feel like? What are you experiencing? And let that awareness travel down in through the neck, feeling all the muscles and tendons and blood vessels and all the things in the neck as it goes down into the shoulders and down the arms. Become aware of how the inside of you feels as that consciousness expands down through the torso, all through the organs and every bit of tissue and everything going on inside. How does it feel? And as you're feeling into it, if you notice some discomfort, just focus a little awareness there and breathe into that space and just breathe life and air into that space for a moment. And then let it go and pay it no more mind at this moment. Just be aware of it. Let that consciousness travel down the legs, down to the bottom of the feet, to the bottom of the fingertips. And just be aware of the experience of being in your body. Feel that amazing feeling. And now focusing all of your awareness right into the center of the heart space, right into the breath. We're going to focus our breath. Something that's important to know is that breath is the foundation of our experience. Breath is the life force that animates us. So I call it chi, some call it prana, some others call it life force. It's all the same. It's energy that we take in, energy that we breathe that animates this amazing body that we have. And so as a foundation of wellness, learning how to manage your breath is huge, because managing your breath, one, brings more consciousness, but two, brings awareness to what you are dealing with on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute basis. And using the breath, working with the breath, allows you to set this foundation for your own transformation, because once you manage breath and you understand the flow of energy into your body, you then enroll the rest of the systems in that process, and includes the mind and the ego, that they all become part of this greater experience of breath and this foundation of transformation. So we're going to inhale to a count of 4, and we're going to fill completely to a count of 4. And at that top of that fill, we're going to rest. We're going to rest in the fullness and relax the body for just a moment. And then we're going to release. We're going to purge all that old energy and air to a count of 6. 6 counts of purging and releasing, so that we pull all of the stale energy and air out from the lower lobes of the lungs and literally pull that old energy out and just let it go. That's how easy it's supposed to be, as easy as the breath. Energy in, energy out. New energy in, old energy out. When we get to the bottom, we're going to rest in the emptiness for a moment, feeling completely void and just resting in that experience. And then we'll engage again and filling completely. At the top, we'll rest, then we'll release for 6, and then we'll rest at the bottom. So bringing all that focus with you now, focus right into the heart, into the breath. Everything is focused into the breath right now. As you inhale, 2, 3, 4, and you're resting and holding in that full, wonderful space. And now you're purging from the mouth, releasing all that air, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. Rest now in that emptiness. Rest in that emptiness, in that void. And now engage the lungs, inhaling. 2, 3, 4, holding at the top, feeling that powerful energy, relaxed in it. And then we release from the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as we rest at the bottom, in the void, in the emptiness, just resting. And then engaging the lungs as we inhale, really feel that air expanding. 2, 3, 4, we're full, and we relax in that fullness. Good. And then release of the mouth. Let that energy go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And now rest at the bottom, feeling completely relaxed in the void. Just as important as feeling full. And then continue that cycle on your own for a couple more times, letting yourself feel the fullness of that breath as you expand to a count of 4, fully expanding in 360 degrees. And when you reach the top, consciously relax in the fullness. Let any tension that's in the body, let it go. Just surrender it right there and then. And now release the air from the mouth, purging for 2, 3. Good. Going all the way down, pulling it all up and out and just letting it go. And then as you reach the bottom, completely relax in the void. And notice how powerful that feels as you continue. And now taking these words as you are continuing to breathe and just let them wash over you. Feel them, experience them, integrate them if they serve you. I am the evolution of God realized as matter. I inform and guide that expression as the pure expression of God. I show up as God. I connect as God. I align as God. I am creation realized. And from that, I create, expand, and engage. I am. And just be in this moment, feeling that. And gently allow your awareness to expand outside of the breath and body once again, bringing yourself present into this moment, into this experience, feeling into it deeply and powerfully, allowing yourself to be fully conscious in the moment and resting in it. And when we come back, just a quick break, super quick break, we're going to dive into the history. So we'll be right back right after this. Good, and welcome back. So I've broken this down today. We're going to have a little fun with this, just some short segments. Again, if you like the show, if you enjoy these adventures, if you're on YouTube, ding the bell, click like, send a comment. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about what you experienced on any given adventure that you take with me. If you're on Facebook, anywhere on Facebook, like, subscribe, send it to your friends. We're also on E360 TV. We're on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire. So anywhere you go there, I don't know if you can do much liking on those, but on the social media, you'll find us all over the place. So we appreciate all that support and all that love. So the history, let's talk a little bit about the history. So my life has been an extraordinary adventure and continues to be an extraordinary adventure. I came in this time, I think, really loaded for bear, as it were. I remember very, very much so as a young person, looking forward to getting into the world, desiring to get into the world, and kind of the sooner the better. I started early. I was active sexually early. I was out in the world as a young person, as a young teenager, getting into trouble, but exploring things. Largely for me, it was always about exploration. I wanted experiences. Whether they were considered good experiences or bad experiences, I wanted experiences. So I would align myself, or I would hang out with people, or I would do things that gave me opportunities to experience new things and new experiences. And so throughout much of my teen years, I was exploring my sexuality from a very young age, a very young age. I am very clear that I came in that way. Um, and I'm clear that that's true for everybody. But for me, I was very active. I was very involved in that part of my life. And when I was 16, I had already been very out and active, and I came home one night having snuck out of my parents' home till the wee hours of the morning, and my mom had discovered that I was gone. And when I came home, I went to go into the house, and she had locked the screen doors because I had a key to the house, but she wanted to be sure that I knocked so that we could have this conversation, whatever that was going to be, or at least I was going to get caught, as the case may be. And I've had these moments numerous times throughout my life, but this was probably the first really big one. And that was a big moment of, where am I going right now? Standing in the backyard of my parents' home at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to determine what I was going to do next. And as I stood there and as I contemplated, I realized that being there was not what I wanted anymore. And I literally turned and walked from my parents' home. I walked 5 miles. We lived on a single street in the middle of cornfields all over the place. And I walked 5 miles to the nearest town, um, having no idea where I was going to go and what I was going to do. I had a friend who lived in town, and I ended up staying with them for a while. And I don't want to get into too much minutia where it isn't important, but here I am now, having left my parents' home, not knowing what this was going to evolve into, but knowing that I didn't really want to be there. And please understand, I wasn't in a situation with my family that was necessarily abusive. I had great parents, and I had three younger brothers. We were all well tended to. My parents were always present. My dad was a creator. He had businesses throughout my entire lifetime growing up, but he was always there. He always showed up. He always provided. There were other dynamic issues with that, but again, not necessarily important to or germane to the conversation, other than I was the typical guy who had a dad that we just did not see the world in the same way. That changed over the years and evolved. So here I am, this 16-year-old kid trying to go to school, trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. And I got sick. And I was sick for about a week with strep throat. And when I went to go back to school, the school would not allow me to go back because I did not have a note signed by my parents, and I was not living with my parents. And I expressed that and said, what's the deal? I don't live there, so I want to finish my education. And I was told promptly that that wouldn't be possible because my parents did not sign. And I said, well, that's unfortunate because I don't live there, and I'm not living there. I'm not going to live there. So I can't get them to give me something they weren't a part of. So I embarked out into the world on my own at 16, not having graduated high school. And I began to explore my life more, and really get out and get a job and started working. And as a young person, I looked mature for my age. I was able to grow a mustache early. And so I looked older than I was. That helped a lot. And I just started to explore my life. And a year or so in, I went to visit my dearest friend in the world at college. And when I went to visit her, I found out that I wanted to do that. I wanted to experience college. So I chose to get my GED, and I applied to the college. It was a private Catholic college. I was accepted, and then chose to live in the seminary. It was a private Catholic college with the college, and then there was a seminary attached to it. So I went into the seminary for about 6 months. I really thought for a long time I was going to be a priest. I really felt that. I've always felt this incredible connection and this bond with God. That's the best way I know how to call it, whether it's the universe or not. I mean, as we moved across the years and the political correctness, the words have changed. But for me, in my own personal experience, my relationship with God has always been significant. So I always kind of felt like I was going to end up there. And there I was in the seminary, living my life, doing my thing, going to school. Wasn't agreeing with me very well. What I found is that the seminary created a ton of conflict in me because of my sexuality, because of my background. I wasn't sure how to rectify all that. So about 6 months in, I attempted suicide while I was at school. I actually got ripping drunk one night and went and drove over the traffic signs on the college campus and then proceeded to take a half a bottle of aspirin and drink beer. And I don't think it was a serious attempt. I think it was a serious attempt to break whatever cycle I was thinking I was in at that point. So that was a huge transformational period for me. Understanding that no, the call was not through the church. The call was a part of me, but that was not a part of me. And so I'd always wanted to be an actor. I always thought I would work with Steven Spielberg and Oprah Winfrey and all these amazing people. And opportunities. The other thing that I'll tell you about my life is that when I focus, I usually am easy to create the opportunities that I seek. Meaning, living in PA, I was looking to go to New York City potentially. I didn't know how I would do that. I was working in a restaurant in Lambertville, New Jersey, and I met the people who would bring me to New York. An acting coach and her husband who had a loft and a studio in New York who was actively teaching. And I waited on them one afternoon and they invited me up to audition, and I did. And I got in and I went to New York and I moved to New York. Now I'm 17 or 18 years old, living in New York, or maybe it was 18 or 19. I don't remember anymore. So I'm in New York, spent about a year and a half, realized that I did not have the skin for that game, not even a little bit. As a young, super arrogant little kid, I had no idea, and didn't have the thing for it. So I'd reached a point where I was feeling kind of unhappy. I had decided I would maybe go on a diet that would help. Maybe I needed to lose a few pounds and make myself look a little better. And so I'd gone on a brown rice diet, which was big in the late 80s, early 90s, and went into this process of this diet. And in the process of that, realized that I was done with this, with Sandy and the coaching, that I wasn't going to do the acting thing. I didn't have the skin for it. I didn't have the thickness of skin for it. So but I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was frustrated beyond all because I thought, this is what I thought it was going to be. This is where I thought I was going. And it wasn't. So I sat down and wrote a Dear God letter one night. It was the end of April. And I thought, if nothing else, at least I can get it out, And so I'm writing this letter, Dear God, blah, 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 wah, 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 my life, blah, 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 blah. But the cool thing is at the end of the letter, I said, hold on, time out. As of this date, whatever it was, April 23rd, 1989, 90, whenever it was, God, I give my life to you. I don't care what you do with me. I don't care where you send me. I don't care what you do with me. Just do something. Because this life right now, no thank you. It's not working for me. But please, I'm completely willing. Take me anywhere, wherever you want me to go, whatever you want me to do, I'm there. 12 hours later, I received a phone call from the person who was my teacher, my mentor, who would eventually become my wife, believe it or not. But I got a call. She was opening a center in Arizona. I'd never been to Arizona. I had visited her once in California with another friend, which is how I met her. And so I was invited to Arizona to spend a few months to help while they were getting the center off the ground. This was a natural healing center that was going to work with all kinds of disease and natural processes for the healing of disease. And so when I received that call 24 hours later or 12 hours later, I panicked and I said, God, yeah, I want to come, but it's going to take me a couple months to get myself together to get there. A couple months ended up being 5 days. I got the call, I think, on a Thursday, and I flew out on Tuesday. So again, this is the kind of unfolding that goes on in my life. So I moved to Arizona, became a part of this amazing healing center. But what I didn't know when I got to Arizona, flashback to the brown rice diet, was that I was very, very ill. I had contracted a very awful parasite in my gut called Cryptosporidium. It was eating my insides. When I landed in Arizona, I was 109 pounds. I normally run 165, 170, a little more than that right now, but then that's what I was running. And commenced on a healing journey. at that point to change the trajectory of my life, because I had been so active and so aggressive in my desire to be out in the world that I really went to the extremes, and I didn't really even know if I would be alive by the time I was 30. And here I was turning into my 20 and deathly ill, not knowing what I was going to do. Fortunately, being in this place where we were building this center, so I got to be part of that process and spent the next year really regaining my health. I spent 6 or 7 years with the center. In the course of that time, Mona, the woman who would become my wife for 24 years, and I got married in the desert in Sedona. That was a very conscious decision on my part, I think, to change trajectory in my life. Mona and I had a powerful bond and a powerful relationship, and I was able to support her energy. She's an amazing teacher and channel and human being, and I was able to support her energy. And she was a master teacher, and she was the thrust of this whole center. Her vision, her inspiration, all of it. So ended up staying at the center, ended up becoming an integral part of the center, became the director of aliveness for the center as I'd come out of my own process and was evolving and growing and expanding in incredible ways. And then over time, we closed the center. There was a lot of struggle with that at the end, but it was an incredible place. I worked with everything from AIDS to lupus to cancer to MS to you name it, every type of disease that you could think of, we worked with. And it was 100% natural. We had doctors on staff to help where that was needed. But I watched people transform their lives and contributed to that transformation for years. After we closed the center, led into life for a while, and we were married for a long time. The last 4 or 5 years of the marriage were a bit of a struggle, and I realized in that time that I was no longer being really authentic with myself. I was not really showing up with who I knew I am. So that required a little shift, and so as I sat with that and deciding the way to go with that, I realized that I had to be true to me. And while the marriage was powerful for many years, it had become a place of lots of dark clouds and lots of unhappiness, and we were not serving each other at all. So in 2009, I made the decision to end the marriage after 24 years. And bear in mind that my wife was 21 years my senior. So that also added some interesting dynamic to the relationship. But carrying it forward, so in 2009 was sort of a banner year. In 2009, I ended my marriage in February. In March, I was diagnosed with anal cancer. I went into treatment for anal cancer and spent the next 3 months in treatment, chemo, radiation, the whole 9 yards, and came out the other side of that. The day that I came back to work, I was fired from my job. I was an area manager for a restaurant company. I was fired from my job the day I came back. A month or two later, I lost my house. This was the time of the recession that happened and the housing bubble that burst, and it bursted all over us. So there I was, standing in the summertime of 2009, trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, because I didn't know. I was in California visiting my family, and one of the managers that I worked with at the time, when I was still doing the restaurant biz thing, ended up being someone becoming the love of my life, quite frankly. I had gone to California to visit my family, and while I was after the 4th of July weekend, I'm in bed, lounging and relaxing, and I hear in my head, "Go visit Michael." I'm like, why would I go visit Michael? I haven't seen him. I wasn't in the market for 6 months. And so I'm like, why would this manager who worked for me have any idea about me? And I rolled over to go back to sleep, and that went on for an hour. Go see Michael. Go see Michael. Finally, I got up. I'm like, fine, I'll go see Michael. Get up, I get dressed, I drive down. His store was only about 15 minutes from where my mom lived. And so I stopped in, and as I stopped into the store and I walk in and I look up, and Michael was at the register, and he looks up and sees me and just beaming, lights up like a Christmas tree. "What are you doing here? Oh my gosh." I was a wreck. I had no idea what I was doing there. It's like, I know I'm supposed to be here, and I know this is about me allowing myself to come forward again and being a proud gay man who did not allow himself that for a long time. And that's a whole other story we can get into. And please know there was nothing negative or wrong about the choice. It was a conscious decision. And it was a conscious decision that I committed fully to. And I wouldn't change it for anything, because it created the space and the foundation for incredible things that have happened in my world and in my life. So July, so we are sitting there in July, we're having this amazing conversation, and we've been together ever since. Pretty much, not even pretty much, been together ever since. I was in Arizona, he was in California. Over in September of that year, I moved to California. And then, interestingly enough, we were sitting outside one day, and we were sitting on our patio, and Michael shows me a rash that he has, and the rash is all over his body. It's all over his body, top to bottom. It's got a rash. So we're looking up rash. And we realized that he was what we call seroconverting, meaning he contracted HIV/AIDS right there in our relationship. And that was directly attributable to me. Having gone through chemo and radiation, my immune system apparently was wrecked. And so in September of 2009, I was diagnosed with AIDS. I had 67, what the CD4, the immune system. I had no immune system basically. And because of that, I was just throwing off virus like crazy. And of course, gave that to my then boyfriend, who is now my husband of 11 years. But powerful time. Spent another year getting my health back in order, getting my immune system built back up, and doing well, extraordinary, fabulous. I don't really align with thought processes about being a victim of anything. I am a creator of my life. And even when I was diagnosed with cancer, there was a clarity about the cancer showing up in my experience that informed what I did next, because I knew in my heart that the energy I had been using in the last 4 years of my life, this negative dark cloud that my ex-wife and I had created, was the source of what I had drawn into myself, because I was no longer in a place of love or joy. I was in a place of anger and resentment and sadness and confusion, and none of that really served. So I've been through major healing processes in my life. I've been through major transformations in my life. I've had powerful teachers in my life. And there's way more to this story, but I wanted to kind of get you through the bulk of some of the things that I've dealt with. And as the time clicks by, I want to make sure that I give enough time to other pieces of the show today too. But after all of that, and we lived in San Diego for 10 years. I've now been living in Colorado for 2 years. In 2012, another amazing human being who was another powerful influence in my life introduced me to, at the time, what's called Higher Brain Living. I went through the program. I became certified. I opened a center in San Diego, which I had for 5 years or 6 years, worked with hundreds of clients on creating these powerful transformations in their life, activating the prefrontal cortex of the brain, stimulating these powerful changes in people in a way that I'd never seen or experienced before, because I could facilitate people losing and dumping years of garbage without having to go through process, without having to be in the pain of it. They could shed off these things and really transform their experience. And it's been a remarkable journey. That journey continues and is expanded to where we are now. The book came as a result of the work I was doing in San Diego. As my center closed, the book became my focus. The book evolved into really a treatise on what I believe is why I'm here. And that is, I think, to really create this foundation of transformation to help people shift from this fear-based experience to an opportunity-based experience. So we're going to take a quick break right now. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the evolution of the book. And we're going to talk about the book and get into that a little bit more. So be right back, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. And we'll be back right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We are going to transition now into this next segment on fear is a choice. And I want to talk about the evolution of this amazing book. So I was driving back from Parker, Arizona, and I had been working with, like as I said, at the center at my Mission Valley Center for years, and really having powerful experiences, watching people transform their lives, assisting in the ability to refocus people and helping them find that opportunity-based experience that we all crave. And as the center, something began to shift at the center, and I began to feel the energy waning from the center. And it was confusing because the center, I had been so successful out of the gate. I had clients all the time. I was running 12, 15 clients continually all the time, every week. And it was an extraordinary experience. But I started to find the energy dissipating, and I was still doing all the things to help build my business and do the things that I wanted to do. And we took a little break and went to visit some friends in Parker. And as we're driving back, I'm going to take a step back. So many times over the years, I've had my clients say, Jim, you should write a book. Jim, you should write a book. Because we would spend time at the front end of the sessions reframing, helping to calibrate where they were. And then, of course, at the end of the session to kind of talk about what was going on after their session. And they would constantly, I would just get this feedback. I had one client who wanted me to have recording equipment available so that whenever I would start talking, we could record it so we could capture it. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. This is craziness. I don't know what I'd write a book about. I don't have any idea what I'd write a book about. And I don't feel compelled to write a book. So if I get inspired somewhere along the way, I'll be happy to write a book. But I'm not going to just write a book for the sake of writing a book. It seemed pointless to me. So here I am driving back from Parker. And as I'm driving down the road, literally, I'm hands on the steering wheel. I'm enjoying the drive. And then I see in my vision here, I'm looking at the title of the book, Fear is a Choice. What is this? And then I see the pages, and the pages are writing themselves. And I'm seeing this information. And this went on for a good 20 minutes where I'm just like, okay. And I think at one point I looked at Michael and said, Mike, I think I'm writing a book. And I'm trying to describe to him what's happening for me as this download is happening. Not an experience I was familiar with. So I was kind of like, what is going on right now? And at the same time, I was excited because I said if I was inspired, I would do that. And suddenly here I am with this download of inspiration going, I guess I'm writing a book. Flash forward, got home, thought, cool, this is there. Got up the next day, sat down to start typing and start writing my book, and nothing. And that nothing went on for months. Couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I was like, what is going on? I mean, that was so clear and so vivid and so real and so in me. I couldn't figure out why was it not coming out. And I visited a friend in Mexico who was an author who'd written a couple of books, and I'd shared my inspiration with him, and he was super excited. And he looked at me and he said, Jim, you just got to do the work. And the funny thing about that statement is that is the exact words. You just got to do the work. The exact phrase that I say to my clients every single day, multiple times a day. And in that moment, getting that message back to me saying, Jim, you got to pay attention, got to do the work. And I went, duh, I've never written a book. How do I know how to write a book? Why would I assume I know how to write a book? Maybe if I come at it a little differently, I'll feel better about how I approach this, because I'm not going to come at it thinking I know what to do. I'm going to allow it to flow through me because that's how it happened to begin with. So I got home from my trip. The next day I woke up, and I woke up with a sentence in my head that says, I want to take you on a journey. And behind that sentence was this pile of information. I mean, I felt it. It was like, what is this? This is incredible. And so I would, and not only that, what also happened when that thought went through my head was the level of joy and excitement that filled me in that moment. And I went, oh, this is going to be awesome. Okay. So when I got up, and again, I went to the computer, sat down, typed, I want to take you on a journey. 20 pages later, a couple hours later, first parts of the book are written. That went on for months. I would wake up with a phrase. I'd wake up with a sentence. I'd wake up with a word. And if I followed that word or that phrase or that sentence, it would lead me into this amazing place of unfolding. And I would just write and write and write, and it would just flow beautifully. And so the book was written. I got the book done, thought it was going to be extraordinary, feel like it, and believe it's extraordinary still. But again, had no idea what I was going to do with it. Few months again now, we're into a year or better. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Actually, it was a year and a half or so. And I had been creating my program, The Science of Transformation. And prior to that had been using a mishmash of other things to fill in some of the work that clients needed to do throughout the course of the program, because I had built this program as an expansion of what I was certified in, and then what I had experienced for the 5 years after that certification. So I was building this kind of new thing with this core of work that was extraordinary. And this core of work was the energetic work that allowed me to facilitate people's expansion into their prefrontal cortex, to help reroute the energy in their body to bring this thing to life so that they could begin to experience this opportunity-based experience. So we went, wait, I got lost. I lost in my own thought. So I started to incorporate the chapters into the program, and that worked beautifully. But I'm like, I have a book. I have a whole book here. What am I going to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this? And then my friend Moshe was writing a book, and he introduced me to his editor. And that was in November, a couple of years ago. 2 years ago. And when we talked, it was great. We connected, and she said at the time, I'd love to, but I won't be able to see you until February because my schedule's crazy. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, no worries. February passed. I was not in a place and ready to do it. Wasn't able to do it at that point. Flash forward a year, and a funny thing, I reached out to her again in November. Said, I don't know if you remember me, but I would love to find out about working again with you. She responded as though we had worked together yesterday. and the conversation was all of this amazing connection, like we had just started our conversation. And she even referenced at one point that, didn't we just talk, back in November? And I said, yeah, that was a year ago November. Well, anyway, this relationship, like many in my life, and particularly with powerful, amazing women, she showed up in a way that I never even anticipated, and came to this amazing piece of work. She took the manuscript that I wrote and turned it into a masterpiece from my perspective. The information in this book is powerful. The information in this book is life-changing. And the reason I say that is because what I know is when you change your relationship with fear, it changes everything in your life. And the evolution of this book is all about taking you through the experience of fear in our human experience. How does it evolve? How has it come about? Because we are not born with fear. We learn fear. We learn to be in fear. So given that, I thought, wow. So we go through in the first section, the foundation of belief. What is this foundation that we live in fear? Because it's everywhere around us. It's at us all the time in media and news and in everywhere we look. We are being inundated with the fear message of not good enough, not big enough, not strong enough, not thin enough, not fat enough, not dressed enough, not pretty enough, not, oh my God, it goes on and on and on. So we go through this book in a way that allows you to understand the evolution of fear, and then how it has been brought into your experience, how you have been trained into that experience, and then how you have continued the training in that experience. And then we get to talk about all throughout specific situations and ideas so that you can see and apply this stuff to your life immediately. You can see it in your life. And once you have that experience and you begin to see how it's working, now we move into the third part, which is you finding the freedom from it. You learning how to shift state. You learning how to step into that most powerful part of yourself and let that light shine. And that's really what Fear is a Choice, unraveling the illusion of our separation from love, is about. The illusion of our separation from love. It is an illusion that has been generated in us from the day you were conceived. And it carries on through birth, through childhood, through adolescence, through adulthood. It just continues. And we continue on our path, evolving our understanding of it, even though we know it's not serving us. So we continue to evolve these ideas about fear that are total nonsense. We don't push through fear. We don't fight with fear. We don't conquer fear. We choose something different. That's all. It doesn't require a fight, because as soon as you go into resistance, as soon as you go there, the resistance creates more fear, because the resistance is fear continuing to emanate in your experience and continuing to supply you with false information about who and what you are. Because when you are stimulated in fear, your ego is going into the subconscious part of your brain and bringing forth as much ammunition as it can bring you to support your belief, whatever it is. Because you've had enough experiences in your life that all of that information is ready and willing to be used forward to show you and support you in the belief that you have. So when you change that belief, it changes the foundation of what's presented to you. Because when you go from a fear-based experience to an opportunity-based experience, you go from seeing life in this sort of very limited. I'm looking through what I consider a telescope with my hands, and I can see everything. If I look in every direction, I can see what I need to see, but it's a very limited perspective, and it's a very protected perspective. But when I shift to that opportunity-based experience, I go from here to here. I don't have a lens. The lens is love. I have a lens that allows me to welcome all of the potential and opportunity that is available to me. And I'm going to end it right there, because on the flip side of the next break, we're going to talk more, and we're going to get into the science of transformation now. We're going to talk about how you transform that fear to opportunity and how that transformation changes your experience, and why this program is so powerful in helping you create that foundation for transformation. So again, we're going to be back right after this. See you in just a minute. All right, guys, welcome back. And now we're going to talk about the science of transformation. Give me a second here so I can put this up on the screen. So the science of transformation is an amazing program. And this program is all about you coming into the greatest form of you. So how does it work? Well, the science of transformation uses the latent energy system of the body. And whether we do this remotely or we do this in person, it doesn't matter. Energy is energy. And what I do as a facilitator of this process is I create a space and hold a space for you to transform within, because I can hold that energy. I can manage the space to help those things that are in the way to change. But the other thing is that my facilitation in this process is about empowering you and your energy, so that you are able to start identifying your own process, that you're being able to identify what's happening in this place. That's what becoming conscious is about. Remember that we are only accessing maybe 10% of our brain's capacity, or our capacity. So the brain's capacity, it's a transmitter, right? It's a transmitting function. But what that says to us is that we're not accessing all of who we are. And what this science of transformation does is help us to access a whole lot more of who we are. And how that's done is, one, through breath and through the shifting of the energy channels in the body. So we are able to, through the process of changing our vibration and also through the process of conscious focus, we are able to create new grooves in our brain. We're able to change the state of our brain. And what I mean by that is that these new grooves, these neural pathways, are created all the time by all the things that we do. It's how belief systems are created. It's how we learn habits. We create these neural pathways, and then we myelinate them, and we ensure their protection. And so those become the superhighways of our energy system, the ones that we spend the most time on. So those thoughts and beliefs and ideas and feelings, all of that is tied together with this. And so what we do in the science of transformation is, one, we show you how to we show you how to shift state. When I say shift state, what I mean is that we all start at a core vibration somewhere. That core vibration is a combination of our beliefs and our emotions and our thoughts, and it causes us to resonate at a certain vibration or frequency. And this is all scientific stuff that can be measured, right? So part of becoming conscious, or the awakening process, or the transformational process, is taking this vibrational frequency from where we are and saying, where is it that I want to be? What vibrational frequency do I want to create? And then setting an intention for that creation and then moving toward it. And what these sessions do is they open up the energy so that as that focus is there for change, for transformation, for more connection to love, for more clarity about career and relationships, all of those things. When you set a foundation, when you set this set point and you understand what your current set point is and where you're going to be, the space between where you are and where you're going is the transformational process. So what happens is, through the course of the sessions and the work that we do together, is you begin to spin that vibration up. You begin to learn how to honor the spinning of your vibration, and learning how to engage your energy when it is spinning up and to disengage when it's not spinning up. But ultimately, the energy is spinning up and you are now on a trajectory because you've chosen a new vibratory experience that you wish to be in. And it doesn't matter what that is. I'm using technical language, but you could choose it as a job. You could choose it as a feeling place. You could choose it as something you want to achieve. Whatever it is, it's setting an energetic foundation for you, or an energetic kind of receptivity for you. So as you move toward that, what is between your current vibration and your new vibration? All of those things have to change in order for you to integrate that new vibration. If you allow that process to occur naturally, which happens through the science of transformation, you begin to shed all kinds of old energies and belief systems without ever having to deal with them, because they're just nothing more than clumps in your energy system that are just there because you attended to them for a while, you thought they were useful, you thought they were good, you thought they might help you, and they didn't. Or they're old beliefs that are just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there that you've never really attended to. When we open up your energy in a session, you now have the ability, through the use of breath and through the breath that is instigated through the process of stimulating your energy, it allows all of these things to move out of your field, to move out of your vibration. And what happens is your vibration begins to rise. And as it does, you begin to experience things differently. You begin to experience life differently, because that change in vibration and frequency is bringing you out and above the energy of fear, because fear is its own vibration. And if your core vibration and the vibration of fear are resonant, that chances are good you're going to have a fear-based experience, which most human beings do. As you begin to choose to set that new trajectory, your energy is moving in that direction. You begin to experience the sloughing off of all of this heaviness and this energy that has been impeding your progress, because your vibration is raising. And it begins automatically to change your relationship with fear, because you become more of the observer of your experience and less the reactor of your experience. So things that show up in your world become objects in the field of your awareness instead of things that are attacking you and coming after you. It doesn't mean it's going to be pure and clean from the beginning. It takes time to build that new muscle. It takes time to build that new experience. But we are all engaged in the process of that together. And so through the sessions and through the arc of the program, you get to experience a transformation from within. So this isn't something that we're laying on the skin or laying on the top or rubbing into you so you'll feel better. This is a process that's coming and originating from within you, and then it's being encouraged out and it's being expanded, and you are stepping into this powerful science of transformation. It's an extraordinary program. You can do sessions for specific things, but understand that the sessions and the work that you do, if you're saying, I want to change my career path, or you want to improve you want to learn how you can better step into something in your career, that's awesome. But understand that particular focus isn't limited in the process that happens in energy, because whatever belief system you have about work and the job is tied to lots of other belief systems you have going on. So none of this is sitting in a vacuum. It's all related. So you may be coming to work a 10 session arc to change your trajectory in your career. And what it's going to do is it's going to alter the trajectory of your life, because your life is not limited to your career. But what you also get to understand over time with this is that as you continue to build your field and you build that energy, there's learning that continues to go all the time. There's reframing that's necessary, because we're so trained as human beings that when we encounter something we don't understand, we look back in history to try to understand it. And what the science of transformation is about is forward motion, is about you have created a change. You have chosen to move your energy to a completely different vibrational level. In doing so, the things that don't match that vibration will change. They have to. It's physics. They have to change. So how do you get in alignment with that? Well, part of the way is getting out of the way. While it may be in your energy, it doesn't mean you have to attend to it necessarily. And if you do, it will show you what you need to know on the way out. And you still don't necessarily need to process it. You can release the energy, you can gain the wisdom from it, and then you can carry on to the next thing. The things that require your engagement will show up in a way that you know you need to engage. So that's kind of the essence of the science of transformation. I hope that helps to bring light to what that's about and what it does. I'm happy to consult with anyone who's interested in the process as a free consultation. You can reach me through Adventures in Truth, or you can go directly to the scienceoftransformation@gmail.com. I will spend time with you. We'll talk about what your focus is, what you want to be doing, what you're hoping to see change. This is a transformational process. What I know is that it will change your life because you will change in the process. And the change is positive and unbelievable, what you will experience in your life when you choose to release fear. And so with that, I have babbled for an hour and sharing all kinds of good things. I hope that you learned a little bit more about me through this process of sharing my story. And I hope that you're ordering my book and you are enjoying the book, and I would love to hear about it. I would love your review. I would love your feedback. And then again, the science of transformation. This is a process that can assist you to take all of what you've learned to this point in your life and quantum leap from where you are to where you want to go. And again, happy to consult with that. Just shoot me an email, send me a note. I'm happy to schedule something with you, and then we can talk. I offer an introductory package where you get the first 2 sessions for a discounted price so that you can experience it yourself. I'm working currently with clients in the Midwest and California via the web. And so we can do these sessions remotely, and they are very impactful. And I'm happy to have you possibly connect with the people that I work with remotely so that you can learn about this as well, because this is a whole new venue. But what I know is energy, and we all live in energy. And I happen to be very good at moving energy. So that's all the time we have for today, guys. I am so grateful for you to be here. I thank you for your time and energy. I thank you for your attention. I thank you for stepping into your own life, for stepping into your own experience in a way that'll even get you curious about the next adventure. So www.adventuresintruth.com is my website. On the website, you'll find out about the book. You can find out more about my program, The Science of Transformation, and you can find out more about the show. And I'm thrilled to be able to do this. Again, if you like us, please subscribe, please share, let everybody know about it. Come join me on my adventures Wednesdays mornings at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time and Fridays at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And until we meet again, I appreciate you. I'm grateful to have you in my experience, and I look forward to seeing you next week, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Adventures in Truth podcast. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to connect with you. Please like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. To learn more about Jim's book, Fear is a Choice, Unraveling the Illusion of Our Separation from Love, or to book a session with Jim, You can email us at adventuresintruth@gmail.com, or you can join us on the web at www.adventuresintruth.com. Tune in next time for another great Adventures in Truth podcast.